everyone. Oh
Hello.
my gosh.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. I've seen
Aw.
people who are on the trip and people who are just interested or want to hear about the trip or just want to find out all about India. Um, so I'm just so excited. This is the first time we've done this. We're calling this an after party because what we've found is that a lot of almost every time, I mean, I can't think of a time when it hasn't happened where we all bond so much and we have so much fun and we're so close and tight and so intense seeing things and experiencing things together. And then we go home and we're like, wah, wah. Like, our hearts feels empty. So, um, because we miss everyone. So we have our WhatsApp touch on, but I thought it would be fun to really just see each other and 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 be able to go through the photos. And how we're going to work this is that for you who are here and thinking that you want to know more or just see what all this stuff is about, um, you can just listen in and then you can also write questions in the chat. And then after everybody sees the chat, and then when we finish going over the photos and oohing and awing and all that, we can you can ask questions. You can ask straight out, like people, what did you think? Or this is a chance to get a live review without filtering. People could say it sucked, and you would, and then I would kick that person off the call. No,
As you should.
just kidding.
For lying.
Anyway,
Exactly.
but I feel very confident. This was a fabulous trip, and I want to introduce everyone at some point, but you can see everyone's name, and but I also want to specifically introduce Kim Seiler. She's got hers on, her scarf. You'll find out why we have these scarves when we go through for you who didn't go on the trip. Kim is going to be leading the trip next year. She was with us for the whole trip, and she's also a yogi. She's a yoga instructor,
Hmm.
and she taught yoga at different points through the whole trip. Whenever we had a break or and just a way to really connect to the spiritualism, the vibe of India. So, and to just keep us all, especially the first one when we flew over, it was helpful for getting over jet lag. Then the last day before we were heading out, just to kind of get ourselves ready for the journey that turned out to be crazier than ever expected. So you'll see the people who've been on the trip because they'll talk, and everybody who's been on the trip, you feel free. But I did go through all our photos, and I've made a little photo thing that I'm thinking it'd be so much fun since I've already done this, if I could just get it published. So you guys, we could figure that out. Now I just need to find it. Okay, there it is. So I'm going to share my screen, and the trip was January 11th through the 24th. Um, let's see, we're sharing. So it looks like but all the pictures were taken on this trip. So, oops. So there, this is just a roundup of just the fun. The first, so this trip was just in Kerala. I had decided that I didn't want it to go crazy. I wanted to try to slow things down. We probably, I think some of you think we could even slow it more down, which we're open to talking about. But Kerala is in the south, and we had our recovery from jet lag at a place called Cranganore. So let me do this full screen so you can see. And what a lovely, lovely spot, right? There's Anne and Kim and Tracy, and Anne can't be here, but beautiful, peaceful spot, and it was a family run. You guys, anybody who's on the trip, you can talk about this. But uh, did everyone did it live up to expectation?
Yes. And I will say that since and we because we were reading the Covenant of Water or had been were had read it before because we had a professor speaking to us about it. I felt like the minute we got out of the bus, our shuttle, our van, and looked at this whole area of Cranganore, this beautiful oasis on this Periali River, that I had stepped into the book.
Yeah.
And I don't know any other way to describe it. It was magical.
Yes. And we were, we were right on, this is on the river, but Kim, I went on a little kayaking thing one morning, Kim went the next morning. Everybody was doing their own thing because it was a day to just kind of we had a day of just relaxing. And actually the second day we probably did more than I expected, but we'll probably try to keep it a little lower key next year. But the thing that it struck me is that I don't know if people generally think of India as beautiful. I mean, I think when your first thought about India is like crowded people, lots of people, maybe Hindu temples, things like that. But this trip, I really wanted to focus on the beauty. And and the little, and we did traditional. The thing I loved about this is I had done this trip, a similar trip before, and we did lots of touristy, really touristy things. Like we saw this dance. It's kind of funny dance that's traditional. We saw it in this auditorium with all crammed with tourists watching it. But at our little hotel in Cranganore, they brought these dancers in to do this whole thing, and which was such a great feeling to be that kind of connection, to have it more personal. We talked to them. We were in the store. We watched them. They were putting on their makeup, and so we saw all this. These were two men, by the way. Um, so that was a lot of fun. But oh, I didn't change that. I didn't change our. I could put the palace. Um, One of the surprises, can somebody tell me what they felt about this? Laura, who else is here? Laura or Tracy or Kim. This whole thing, it was kind of a surprise, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was really fun. We got whisked off via tuk-tuks to go down this crazy little country road to this sort of end of the road where there's just this old big wooden boat and a guy with a punt, with a pole waiting for you. And we loaded up in these boats as the sun was setting. And as you can see, there's one of those Chinese fishing nets in the background. So it was just really beautiful. And then, of course, I guess the real surprise was after we'd enjoyed the sunset, we turned around and actually went to one of those platforms and were served a traditional dinner, which was very
Yeah.
nice.
I think maybe I forgot to put that in there. Um, no, I did. I did. See, I made
Oh,
this today really fast, but should have it.
oh,
I should have, but this was us on our little boat. This was in our tuk-tuk getting there. Then we're on the boat, and the sunset was just so fabulous. And I didn't tell anybody that we were going to go up to the one of those platforms and eat dinner. And that was just extraordinary, because it was a surprise. I love to surprise people.
it
So,
it was also more than just the surprise. It was like it did like it was one of those moments, and I always went back to this. I think over the 2 weeks that every time something seemed so magical, I was like, oh, can't get any more magical than this tomorrow, and it did. It did. I don't know how it did, but it did. And so on this one, we saw the magical sunset, and then we saw these weird blue fingers of the sky, and it was just like spectacular. And then we got on this platform with this Chinese fishing net, which how it goes up and down. It's kind of a
well, you can
I don't even
see
like
one in the back, in the back
yeah,
here.
it's
Oops,
like
there's
old
one in my way.
fashioned. But then we go on and the platform, it's dark and it's all candlelit and it's like four tables and us, and it's called the Blue Yonder. And it's like a restaurant that's out in the middle of the river.
And I'm gonna find it before the end of I'll find the picture. I was putting this together and I didn't get it. Obviously, it's supposed to say fishing net dinner. They're not Polyam Palace. Ooh. But it was a surprise for me too, because I wasn't sure if it was going to happen, so I didn't say anything to anybody, but it all fell into place, and it was such a beautiful thing. So after that, so we're on the water on in right north of the major town of Kochi or Cochin. I've heard it both ways. And then we take a bus ride up into the mountains. And again, the natural beauty. This is sunrise, and it was at our another family, a small family owned place that estate with lots of cabins and a beautiful restaurant. And they had a little thing. Remember going up there to, struggling, going up there in the morning and hoping that the sun, we were going to get clouds and good sunrise. And this is what we got. It's just, it was fun. It was good. So Windermere Estate was it's just so beautiful. I mean, up in the mountains, clean air, just a little chilly, but in a nice way, not frigid. Um, let's see what else. Oh, so we did a lot with tea, did we not?
Did.
Did we? Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and remember this sweet guy, we thought he was the sweetest, but he just,
We were so engaged during that tea presentation. We all got so excited and had so many questions.
I
And
know.
he loved it. He was like, this
Yeah.
is a great crowd.
Our minds were blown about all the information on tea that we had no idea.
I know. And yeah, we learned what white tea was, what green tea was orange pico tea was, what, all these
How,
different.
how many times you can strain one versus the other, and
Yeah.
which one's the proper steeping
Well,
time,
what
and
blew my mind is that they're all the same plant. I didn't realize black tea, green tea, white tea, that they're all just a tea plant,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
should have known, but
Yeah, I didn't know.
What in your column, Lucy?
But
yeah,
I know, I
how did
thought the same thing, Lucy, because I'm like a big green tea matcha person, and I thought white tea was like a completely different plant than green tea or black tea.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was fascinating.
so we did this estate is so beautiful. I have to
Love
put
it,
that in
Kim.
there of you, Kim.
Why?
Wait,
I
wait,
love
what?
that of Kim going, ooh.
Oh, I like Jeannie. Oh, it's the big squirrel,
I know.
the giant squirrel.
The
It was like the
giant-
size of
a
a
giant
dog
squirrel.
in the tree.
We saw
Yeah.
lots of cool birds. We had a beautiful woman taking us through. She's like a
Oh
model.
yeah, Kim.
Yeah, Kim. So, so this gets us to the boutique. This was one of those surprises that I knew I hadn't done this part of this stretch of the trip, but the person who put it all together and helped me with the logistics told me they were going to this place called the Shristi Trust. I didn't know what to think, but oh my God, we not only got to make our own boutique, but we got to meet all these workers. This is a special place that's for that they've put together for uh, differently abled, I guess, differently abled young adults, and they all work here. And with textiles, there's other paper making, there's other things in this whole compound, but the textiles is what they're really known for. Like Eileen Fisher uses some of their products or their has them do work. We met two designers who were there working with them to come up with some things. Just it's fabulous. And we did not know we were going to be batiking, using the hot wax. They called it something else. I just think of it as batiking. Anyway, so we all got to make our own. Whoops. Oh, I got it out of order. So yeah, we all got to make our own. So we're all wearing them here, and we're with one of the people who runs it, and then we're also on the end is Ash, and you're going to hear a lot more about Ash. She was our local guide and just terrific. So and this is the thing. There's a school on the property, and these kids had put together a little dance for us, and they started doing it. They were so excited we were there. And then Ash is like, well, you could go up there and dance. And of course, we're like, Okay. So that's why we're there. And Ash later told us that that's when she started to love us, is when we went up there and danced. And but this guy in the green, man, he was something.
It was good.
I was trying to keep up. Um, and then we have our time at the tea factory. So we do a tea tasting, we go to the tea factory and we learn all this stuff about how it's dry. I mean, it's fascinating. And you get to see, you just feel really close to all these people working there and kind of understand, you see the trucks coming in, you kind of understand something more about their lives there because of it's just this is something that happens every day. The tea pickers come, the tea things come in. Um, and uh, oh, the Jeep ride that some people said was very adventurous. I think Kim thought it was very adventurous.
Yes, I did.
We went on little tiny roads and crossed little tiny bridges, but we split up into like three Jeeps, and we here on the right side, that's the inside, but we're playing music, some really, I guess it was Bollywood, I'm not sure. But what we were going to this tea plantation. I mean, just endless beauty of the tea plants look like velvet, velvet. I just love all the pictures of everybody. And the coolest thing, I didn't put it in here because I didn't, but we saw elephant dung.
Mhm.
So that was a big
Un-
deal. And we didn't
It
see,
was a big deal. We didn't see the elephants, but we saw the dung.
yeah.
It was like
We took lots
mind
of
blowing.
pictures. Oh my gosh. So there you can see just how gorgeous that is. I mean, it looks like something out of Dr. Seuss to me. I mean, just velvety. And we learned about why the rows are done the way they are, but we won't bore you with that. Oh, I just love some of these things on the road. I don't know who took that picture. It was so funny. The banana truck.
That's a great one.
I was in the front seat for a while, so I took that one.
Oh, yay.
That's a good one.
I thought it was so great. And so Kerala is a mix of Christian, Hindu, and even Muslims, and they have more of a mix. You see probably fewer Hindu temples than you would in other parts of India, but we stopped for Ganesh, so that was a cute. You see that still. Oh, and then we are hiking in at Windermere. It's a big property. I forget how many. Does anybody remember how many acres? Right.
68 or is it?
Yeah, it was just, and we
It's like,
did. I love this picture of you, Kim, because he was giving us things to eat. So
yeah. And I was like, oh, should I? And I
nobody
did.
got sick on this trip. I mean, well,
Oh,
stomach sick.
well,
Just say
mm,
that I know of. That I know of. You might have taken. So we end up in Tekadi, and we were greeted by lots of monkeys. They're everywhere there, which is so cute. And it's called Spice Village. It's a little larger than the other two hotels we stayed at, but really nice uh, rooms and food. And they have traditional dances every night if you wanted to, just for like half an hour if you want to go peek in. This guy is pouring the milk coffee. That it's a kind of a ceremony, a nice ceremony. Then we went into the Perrier Tiger Reserve, which of course, I mean, look, we all got hats that say Tiger Club. I might even have mine here, but we didn't see a tiger. But it's a hike. It was like a 6 mile hike through uh, beautiful preserve forest, and we had to put gaiters on. They said protect ourselves from leeches if we went in water. I know might sound scary, but we didn't go in any water, and there were no leeches. So we just got to wear goofy things on our legs. So goofy footwear. So there were two different choices. So some people did the hike and took a bamboo raft around the lake, and other people went. There's a larger boat that you can go on that without the hike. So that's Lucy there and Anne. Um, so that was fun. And then we saw some the wildlife, but the best wildlife we saw on the hike was these were they water oops, the water buffalo, sorry. I'm not
Wild bison, I think.
God, look at
Yeah.
wild bison. I'm going the wrong direction. Uh-oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. Sorry. How do I go backwards? Okay, there we go. Wild bison. Yeah, and it was a little we didn't think it was scary until they started the guides there and the naturalist kind of were freaking out like stay back. But we weren't in any danger. Um and we also in Tekadi we did a spice walk where uh this is an area that they grow so many spices. So we went to this private plantation, and I've been to other spice walks supposedly that are just kind of marketing, but somebody has a store and they put a little some spice plants behind it and you walk through and they just want you to buy. This was actually at somebody's estate, and we got to have after our little white walk through, we got to have snacks in their house, and they were a Muslim family, so that was a different perspective. Um, so we got to go eat in a lot of people. We got into a lot of people's homes. It was very welcoming. And this down here on the bottom right is cardamom, and it is the queen of spices, correct? What's the king of spices?
Pepper?
Yes.
Pepper.
What have we learned?
It's a
How do we not know this?
This was really fun too. I mean, one of the things I really like on our trips is to meet local women and just see how their lives are. And this, for some reason, this really was it felt really intimate and it's just such a warm experience. They spend all this time at this cardamom factory. They sort them. They're getting rid of the ones that aren't up to grade, and they sit there all day and just go through. And I think Tracy, you were saying it's kind of peaceful, or somebody was that there was kind of like a um, very zen to kind of just sit there mindless. But they were so nice, and we helped them do this, but it just was a really nice personal experience with them. And then we had such a fun time here because we posed with this truck full of cardamom sacks. And I'm just joking, but this guy here on the worker, he's wearing his little, what is that called?
The Mendu.
Mendu?
Mundu.
He was wearing that, and I was trying to take pictures, and then I realized he wasn't wearing anything under the picture. He wasn't wearing anything under the mundu. And I was like, what? But I recovered enough to get into the picture. I don't have any to show you. I deleted them. So from after this, we go to the backwaters, and the Carroll is known for the black backwaters. This is what uh, the author wrote about in Covenant of Water, Abraham Verghese, uh, and it is just like it's like highways and streets and little alleys, depending on the size of the canals, and that's how people get around in this part of the country. I mean, they have buses that run on the bus boats that run on the canals, and so we spent 2 nights on a houseboat. We had two houseboats, and we really spent. I mean, this was a slow down, very much slowing down because it wasn't like it was packed with lots of things to do. It was really more about just taking in what was happening. This is the daily life we saw. And I mean, you can see it was kind of like goof time too. But for me, I had this idea when I was planning this trip that, I love this book, The Covenant of Water. And so I thought, wouldn't it be great to have somebody talk about the book while we're on the houseboat, experiencing everything right in front of us, that the book is just being played out in front of us. And so this woman, her name was Bindu, beautiful woman, so sweet. She's an English professor. And so she came and she talked about the book. We talked a lot about the book, about how, authentic it was. But more than that, she gave us so much history and context for what we were experiencing in India. Did you guys love it as much as I did?
Oh yeah. I mean, I did.
She
Yeah,
was so interesting. And really just talking about, I mean, we had all read, I think, or most of us, if not all of us, Covenant of Water before we went. So it really gave us like a historical perspective of the area that helped going into it. But then to talk to her about what had changed since the book and really about what the lives of women are now and how the caste system sort of has changed and not changed.
Yeah.
It was fascinating, and she was just a cool woman.
and I remember somebody, I forget who it was at the beginning, saying, do you think we can ask about the caste system? Do you think that's bad? And we were kind of nervous about it, but there was nothing you couldn't ask her. She was so smart, so much information, so much great perspective. So this worked out even better than I had hoped in my mind, just to to really just feel immersed in this world of the book. So, and one thing, we were on the big boats, but we also took had some time to take small boats on the smaller, like I was saying, there's some big canals or like highways, and they get smaller, and then there's some that are like alleys. And so we went on some of the ones that were like alleys, and you just see life. Life is all happening. Women washing their clothes, women fishing, men bathing, kids playing, people brushing their teeth in the water. We're all like, oh, don't drink that, don't drink that.
Yeah.
Anyway, um, did you guys, what did you remember most about that little canal trip?
What I was so struck by is this is the area which in 2018 had experienced so much flooding. So it had been 5 feet above the water table at its worst, which is hard to imagine. So you could see all these little houses that had been abandoned, and then next to them, they had rebuilt on stilts, which was just, it was hard to see that because it's like, this is such a susceptible area, especially now with global warming, but also, they're resilient. They're going to keep going on. So it's their home.
Yeah, yeah. I love this part just because it was like that slow, just taking it all in, really nice. We went on walks off of the boat. We did some walks. We went in the rice fields. We went on some paths by the canals. We were walking on those, and this is the main street of these villages. You meet all these people, and there are this here in the on the left. This was the we went to what's it called? A toddy house.
Toddy
Toddy
house.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they make these toddies from coconut flowers, and it starts to ferment in like 2 hours or something. And so, it's like the little bar down the corner pub for people. And we did not drink it there, but we drank it at another place. But Suzanne is drinking it, is holding a glass of partially fermented. I guess if you leave it for a long time, it gets pretty strong. But so this is it's not a great picture because they turned down the lights, and there was all these kind of fluorescent lights on the ceiling. And Ash, who we need to talk about more, we started learning some Bollywood dance steps for her. That was funny. Um, so Ash also, again, this was, just spending 2 weeks with her, and she was a little imp. She was a jokester, and she knew a lot about her country and was happy to share it, but she was a little bit of a prankster too, which would made it just you never knew what she was going to do next. But so we went. Do you remember the temple? This was a goddess. It was a temple for a goddess. Do you remember which goddess?
So that one was the Ganesha temple, and
Oh, it
where
was.
she's throwing the ball,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Okay. I
Wasn't
thought
it?
it was overall. It was to a goddess, but
Mm,
we got to go into some areas that we didn't even know if we were going to get into for the blessing, and just watching the monks work, and we couldn't take any pictures there, but that was special. And then Ash gave, anointed us, or whatever you say, blessed us. But
bless.
then she took us to a place where were those coconuts? What kind of balls I can't remember what those were that we were throwing.
Yeah, they were
They were
coconuts.
coconut, yeah. And
Coconut.
to break them open on that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You're supposed to throw them in this cage and break them open. And somebody else tell them.
It's to release your ego, to to let go of the ego. And so you take the coconut ball and you do it 3 times around your head, and by saying the mantra, and then it's like you're throwing it into a batting cage or something, and
Yeah.
there's this raised stone, and you throw it at it, and well, if you do it correctly, it splits. I could not do it to save my life, but whatever. So
You still got to all your ego then,
I
Kim.
do. I
Gotta
guess
work
I
on
do. Got to work on that.
um, hold on. And yeah, this is just more from the
Prasadam. Yeah.
yeah, more from the temple. And then we call this place Amichi's house. This was just extraordinary. And we had gone to other people's homes and had meals, which was really nice. But then we go on these tuk-tuks, and we go on this back road, and the roads are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And we end up here, and it's like a 400-year-old house or something, and it's like teak wood on the doors and things. And this woman, I can't remember her name. I just call her Amici. But we call Amici because that's from the Covenant of Water. But it looks like something that the house looks like it could have been right out of the book, the model that he used for writing about this. And they served us a beautiful lunch. And in Kerala, maybe other parts, they serve on a banana leaf. And a lot of people like Ash use their fingers. We couldn't quite get used to that. We tried, but this was just a special place, a special woman and her family. And oh, that was from another year. Sorry. See, I was really busy today. I'm sorry.
One of the things about the banana leaves, Ginny, that I thought was so cool, and I don't know if this resonated with anybody else, how you fold it a certain way when you're done to indicate whether you like the lunch or not.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But can you imagine somebody folding it and they didn't like it?
No.
But so our last stop was the Marari Beach Hotel. And I had stayed here before. I think Olga's on here. Olga and I stayed here before. Just, again, just beauty, a beautiful beach and a beautiful property with different restaurants and yoga and a spa. And we all got Ayurveda treatments there. So it was just, I just can't just tell you about the beach. It was just so gorgeous. And a pool, fabulous pool, palapa roof huts and bungalows to stay in. And I just, I love this picture because we were all we got in the water that last day and we're just like, oh my gosh, we got to get in the ocean one more time before we leave. And
That
then we,
water was so amazing. The temperature was just perfect. You could just get in. It wasn't cold. It was just like, it was amazing.
yeah, it was just something. And we all would gather at at sunset to watch because sunset, we're on the we're on the western coast, southwestern coast of India. It's actually called the Malabar coast. So the sun sets right there over the ocean. And we'd go out there every night just to see it go down. It was just so fun. And then on our last day, we went to Philip Kutty's farm, and we took a boat. So there's a lot of boat rides in this on this trip, Lucy. So sorry. A lot of boat rides, but we took a boat across to this little island, and we it was such a treat because it was run by this older woman and her daughter-in-law, and the older woman's son had died, that the husband of the daughter-in-law, and so but the two of them stayed and they created this gorgeous place that has cottages to rent and fabulous food. I think some of the best food we had the whole time. And but they run it together and they did this really sweet thing for us. They put they let us put on saris and we talked about the traditions and with saris and how why it's pleated and why it's done this way. And that was really fun. And of course we had to get a picture of us doing that. And a few of us went on one morning when we were at Morari Beach to this fishing village. And again, it was like, we're dropping into people's lives. I felt so much not like a tourist. Of course, I am a tourist, but I felt like we were seeing something authentic. And there were maybe a few other Westerners there at the time, but these people were, this is what happens every day. The fishermen are out at night, they get the catch, they bring it in, they fight the waves to get the boats in, and then they bring in the fish and it's just a whole, and there's a live auction market. And I think I told you about Kim doing yoga. There's a few of the yoga classes she did, one in Cranganore, one at Windermere, one at Spice Village. So really a nice addition to what we're doing. And then we had our farewell dinner and had to say goodbye to Ash. And one thing I really just loved about Ash is that she opened up so much about her own life. I mean, it was pretty remarkable. And we aren't sure that she's in a what we would call and here a thriving marriage, but that's not for us to judge. It just some of the things she said was like, oh, but she had an arranged marriage but she's very independent and has a daughter. So we got more, all these people we met along the way, we get more and more insight into what it's like to be a woman there and to make your life there. So we had a beautiful dinner at the last night at Spice Village, and we got corsages from the restaurant. And I love this picture of you, Laura. I got some little gifties for people, and makes me so happy because Laura, you really look like you were happy with the gift.
I was so excited.
And here, just a selfie in the restaurant, open air restaurants, and um, just so nice. So hard to leave. These were the women that live on the island. The mother, the grandmother, the daughter-in-law, and the granddaughter. Just beautiful. And I just love this picture of you. You two, Tracy and Kim, went to a different temple, additional temple with Ash. Very gorgeous.
Yeah, one of my favorite things with her was how much I know I shared the last night, how much she shared her faith and so personal to her and her just wrapping us in it with her was just so beautiful.
Yes, she was. I wrote her and I just told her how much we missed her. I do miss her. Her just funny
She
energy.
was
So
very special.
Yeah. Yeah.
and Delcy was supposed to be on the trip. How are you feeling it, Delcy?
I'm feeling great. I'm
Good.
feeling great. And I just want to say I followed you guys on the WhatsApp. In the first few days, it made me cry because I was
Oh,
wanting
Aw.
to be there with you. But I just want to tell you how joyful it was for me to follow along and what great spirits you all had, even with your crazy travels home. I was like, oh my
Mm.
God, no one's lost their mind yet. Like you guys,
oh, our travels home. Yeah.
yeah, the
And that
travels
was
home.
because of weather. That wasn't an
Yeah.
India
Right,
thing.
no,
That
I know
was
because of
No.
the weather. So
the
I'm like,
US
no, it couldn't
mess.
be prevented, but sometimes people lose their shit over that stuff. And you guys have been awesome. And no, it's been really fun for me to follow along. And as long as I get the clearance from my doctors next year, which I'm hoping I will, I would love to join Kim on her first trip.
Oh, that
Aw.
would be
Well,
so
we missed you
wonderful.
so much, Delcy, and I would love you. I would be so honored if you could come with us next year. And
I was there in heart, trust
oh,
Well,
and
we have this is a time for anybody who's thought about India or is intrigued with India, any kind of questions ab about India or the trip or anything. I mean, I don't want this to be this. I'm not trying to sell you on a trip. I don't even have a trip posted. It's not about that. It's just more about sharing this really intense, emotional, lovely experience we had together, and just thought people would like to see how much it meant to us. And but what questions you have? Elizabeth? Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. I don't have any questions, but I was like this close to coming, and so I was super intrigued. And it looks spectacular. It just looks, and I know that photographs can't capture like the impact that you all were feeling being there. So I can only imagine how
Yeah,
amazing it was. I want to go on the Kim led trip next
Kim
year.
led trip. Kim. And Olga's here. Olga, hi. So Olga was with me on the trip. Some of you heard me talk about the trip 2 years before that, and how that I actually used that as something I really didn't want. I used it as a point of launching. Like I didn't, Olga, we were traveling all the time, go, 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 and we were in cities, a lot of cities. I mean, we did some cool stuff, there's no doubt, but I wanted it slower. I wanted it beautiful. I wanted it where you're out of this. We didn't even go to any city, Olga.
How many places you stayed though? How many
We
hotels
just we
changed?
just stayed 5 different places
Oh,
over.
that's still a lot.
Well, it is. But we never, and we probably, I think a lot of, I have some thoughts on how to maybe even cut out one of the cities and bring it down just even more, because but the beauty is what I focused on, and we didn't stay, only stayed, the shortest we stayed 2 nights at 2 of those places, but other places were 3 nights each. And what do you guys think? Did it feel like a lot of changing, or I think some of you, and I do a survey after every trip, and I think some of you thought maybe I could do without one destination, maybe spend a little longer at a few others. So that might be Lucy or who else? Laura, did
Yeah,
you?
but I shouldn't really say because I ended up having to leave the trip because I got ill early, not food ill or anything, just something else. Um, but so I, but it- we're my sense was that staying 4 places would be great, but
Yeah,
I don't know because I didn't go to the other places, so I can't really say.
yes. So anyway, but that's something we're looking at, and we're also looking at we want to raise we were on a luxury boat, but the houseboat, but there were still some things that could have been better. So I'm just being honest with all of you that we're getting that to to be a better experience. I mean, it wasn't bad or anything. It's just some
Mhm.
bathrooms were like, maybe.
You know, Jeannie, I just want to share something separate about, not about the trip, but I think the contrast of being in some kind of woody, simple place and then to luxury is actually amazing.
Oh,
Because
Mm.
I went separate on some meditation, like a kirtan trip
yeah.
with very simple 16 days. And then I went to Jaipur and I booked really amazing places. And that was, I don't know, it just the contrast brought so much for me.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, that's good. Well, we're working through that, and but it's anybody, Laura, I know I want to
I
hear from you.
I loved it. I mean, I liked going to that many places. It's not very often that I go on a trip for 2 weeks, so that felt like a long trip for me. So 5 places felt good because I felt like by the time I'd sort of settled in a little bit, we got to go somewhere new. And I don't know, I felt like I was constantly being stimulated and there's something new and something exciting. And I don't know, I really liked it.
Well, that's good. What do you think, Kim?
Well, I was going to say I felt the same way. I didn't feel like it was too many places, and
Mm-mm.
I've been to India prior, and I really felt like it was such a chaotic experience the first time I went. This one felt so like just like I was just held and like we were flowing, and I don't know that I just felt like it had I felt like it had a beautiful flow. And
Mhm.
I felt like the way we ended it was like very luxury at the end. And I felt like we'd been taken through, some different, levels and steps, and like the homestays showed us how, like, sometimes I felt like we had stepped into about like 100 years prior in history, kind of thing.
You mean
So I loved
you
it.
mean the not the homestay, but the home when we
Well,
visit.
the home stay lunches, we didn't
Oh yeah,
stay at
yeah,
the homes, but just that we got to go and be part of their homes.
yes.
I loved it. I don't know if 4 places would be enough over 2 weeks. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. And we have a real, we had a great driver,
Yeah.
very comfortable. It wasn't a huge bus. It was a mini bus, kind of, but it was just perfect. Um, but since this is a time for you guys to get live reviews or whatever, is there anything from the people who went, first of all, what you'd like to change, or maybe even like there were some things that maybe we should have known more in advance to give you more advance warning. So maybe if there's anything that you can tell people who might be interested in going about this trip.
Well, I mean, this is just kind of, I was a little concerned about like all the immunizations and if I was going to get sick, and I bought a water purifier thing that I didn't use at all, and there was no issue. So all of that worry was for nothing.
Yeah.
And so I would say if that's anyone's concern to, yeah, not worry about that so much.
And I know that you took malaria preventive. I remember I only got like a couple bites, but I don't, Laura, you got more, I think.
I did, but I talked to my doctor about malaria and she said the prophylactic for that is pretty bad and that area is not known for malaria. So I did not do that. I did, however, do typhoid and I think I redid my tetanus and there were a couple others that I don't remember, but there were a couple things that my doctor recommended. But yeah, I
Yeah.
got bit a couple times, but I wasn't wearing, DEET every day or anything either. I wasn't being super proactive about it.
I took these little things. Remember, I had these on a lot
Yeah.
that but only not when you're in the mountains, you didn't need them. So
Yeah.
that
I
was,
I felt like it was no different than going to other areas of the world. I don't think it was, I agree. I think we had filtered water, we had laundry, we had all of us had a multitude of pharmaceuticals to support each other, if we were nauseous or had bites or itches or I mean, I think yeah, I definitely felt it was wonderful. And also to your point, Jeannie, if you were talking about like 4 versus 5 places. I don't know. I'm like, I don't think I would have wanted to take out any of the places.
That's good.
I can't imagine what to omit. Um, but we were very, very well taken care of. And I agree with, I think it was Olga who mentioned, I love the difference between, maybe some things were slightly a little less, but then other things were so amazing, like everything was good. So, okay, maybe a bathroom wasn't quite the same bathroom on the boat as it was somewhere else, but like you're also like it's all just part of the experience, right? And we were by no means roughing. I don't think in any way. It was all fantastic. So
Well, so I just thought we just have Suzanne who just joined us. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi,
I'm
sorry,
gonna,
I had the event. It showed up on my calendar at 6:30, and then when I was looking back, it showed that was Eastern time.
oh, I'm so
My
sorry
calendar didn't
to
do it.
pick up that difference.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyhow,
Well,
sorry.
I'm gonna we just went through, I've had all these, I did like 50 pages of photos, and I'll send it to you, but you also have this recording. I'm looking at ways to make it into a book because, I've always wanted to do that after trips, but, I just go on to other things and I forget. But now that I've got it in, some kind of order, maybe need to tweak a few things, but I forgot to put in. But anyway, um, but I just would love to get that. So we'll show it to you. We've been talking about things that could have been better. Um, Lucy, did
I
you?
have to go.
Oh, you have to go.
Bye,
Okay.
y'all.
Bye,
bye,
Lucy.
Lucy.
bye.
Thank
Good
you.
to
Love you.
see you.
Um, but I also want to end on like what we did on every farewell dinner. I kind of go around and ask people what their favorite parts are. So I just wanted maybe you can, Tracy, you can start with what was your favorite part.
Sure. And I apologize. I'm a little multitasking because I'm still at work here in Arizona, but I wanted to be able to see everybody. So my favorite part, I know we sort of did this on our last dinner, was definitely all of you. For anyone considering a trip, I think you sort of get a self-selecting group, right? I mean, all of the women were just amazing and open and kind and curious and respectful and interesting. And just when I talk about it back here, everyone's like, wow, okay. I'm like, I'm not lying. I loved the community. I love not doing just tourists, like seeing people how they live. Um, again, the home meals, it was just all phenomenal, just taking all of it in. And I think all of us sort of shared, and I've been experiencing this coming back, going through the photos, sharing it with other friends and family. Like I was even explaining it to a colleague of mine here who's been to India, and I almost got a little teary-eyed as I was sort of recounting it. We're so busy and you're so sort of stimulated when you're there. It's nice when you kind of get back and have time to process. And then also, of course, as I mentioned, Ash, our guide, and just how lovely she was. And again, just India and that area was so unique, and all of the different faiths, sort of being together and being peaceful and respecting. And that was just such a lovely part to sort of learn about her faith and how welcoming and open she was about herself. And yeah, it was just beautiful and lovely. So
Lovely.
all of it.
I love your
It's wonderful,
So,
wonderful.
Kim Barnfield, what
Yeah,
about you? Your favorite
yeah, I
part?
would kind of mirror what, some of what she said. I was telling my family, like one thing I loved is how we just showed up and everything was planned. We just tell me what time to be there. And even at meals, you didn't even like a lot of times you didn't even have to order. They just bring a lot of food and everything was fabulous. It was just the ease of it. Like Kim was also saying, it was just like it flowed. It was easy. Everyone got along. It was just an easy trip. And traveling with a group of women is wonderful because you don't have to worry about, where's my family going to get bored, or is my husband going to want to do something? It was like, it was just about us. And traveling with like-minded women, and being able to ask a million questions, and everybody's enthused, and that energy was great. And then the natural beauty, of course, and the warmth of the people there was really like surprising. Like they'd seemed genuinely like they were welcoming and wanted us to be there and wanted to answer our questions. And yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Laura?
So now that I've had a little time at home, my answer is probably going to be a little more woo-woo than it was at dinner. So, it is just the whole like vibe of the trip, like definitely the people, and not just the people that were in our van, but definitely you guys were amazing. But I just feel like I was so struck by how friendly and kind and interested everybody was. Like all those pictures with the local people, like those women walking their children to school, didn't they stop and just like engage with it? Like it was just amazing to me. I remember even sitting on the or standing on the shore and seeing one of those water taxis going by. And if people caught your eye, they would just start waving. Like these were local people on their way home from work or school or whatever. Anyway, just so the people was amazing, and just the feeling, just there was just sort of this whole like sensory overload of the smells of jasmine and spices, and you hear the people chanting at 5 o'clock in the morning before you're getting out of bed. Like it's just, yeah, it was amazing.
Oh, that's great. And Suzanne, what your favorite part?
Well, definitely the women, I have to say. NextTribe really does it has something that attracts a certain type of traveler. And I find that in some ways a little bit magical.
Mhm.
That it seems to happen over and over again. And I'm a person who's highly skeptical of that. I've been a teacher for my whole life, and classes are different, the dynamics of groups. So I just find that as one thing. So that's just at this point, it's sort of a given that I expect if I'm going on a NextTribe trip, I'm going to be making good friends. And
I love
and that's just fabulous. And in terms of it's interesting what I've been reflecting. I'd probably say the same thing in terms of what was my favorite. It was Windermere, actually being in the mountains in Munnar. It really, it was both so peaceful and beautiful and cultural, both historically and present, that I found really interesting, and actually what I've been reflecting on a lot since I've gotten home is how I didn't expect India. I mean, and India is a huge country, so this was a small bite, but that how I would really experience sort of the historical context as well as the present. And in this trip, I guess I didn't expect to see that and feel that. Some of you have already talked about that, the different faiths all coexisting and being really present, the spice trade and just the presence of spices and scents and tastes and everything, but also just I've thought a lot about how the caste system and that colonial history still sort of is in the water of all the different experiences, how people self-segregate, are segregated, fit different roles, etc. And I'm not I found that really interesting that even in this small slice of India, I
And
could still feel that.
and that's what I'm so glad to hear that, because that's what I was hoping. I feel like when a lot of people go to India, they feel like they need to see lots, hit all the different, and I, I just felt like if we just could get a good slice, you'd get such a rich experience, and it's such a impressive idea of what the country is about. Obviously, this is about a lot more than what we could see, but we saw so much, we experienced so much. So I'm
Yeah.
so glad to see that, to hear that you don't have to rush around. I mean, to make everywhere. You don't have to try to hit everything.
Right, right. To really sort of feel like, oh, that's what this country
Yeah,
is
yeah,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to end with Kim because she's going to be your if anybody is thinking about this for next year, Kim and Ash. I told Ash we couldn't come back without her. We did, but we need her to slow down. She's a fast talker, so we have to like slow her down a bit. But she's so lovely, and so Kim, what do you look forward to for if next year doing this trip?
I did so many things. I mean, first of all, like Suzanne was saying, and well, and everybody, the beauty of everything that we got to see. But it was also, I think this is maybe piggybacking on what Suzanne was saying. The people, I feel like we really got to know like authentic people, the people who took us on the tours and the things that they taught us. They were everyone was very well educated. And I think we learned that from the professor that um, Kerala had a 99% literacy rate, right? And so we were dealing with really smart, intelligent, educated individuals. And, they don't have like everything, like these amenities that we think of, oh, what modern world existence is all about. And it was lovely to see that dichotomy and just to like get to know their hearts. I don't know. I love that best. I mean, you know me, I've never met a stranger, so that just speaks to me. So I'm looking forward to making new best friends, and that is another thing with the the group of women we get to meet and travel with, and immerse ourselves into and among when we're traveling with the NextTribe group. It's something that I've seen over the years since you've started the company, Jeannie, and it's amazing how you go in thinking, like, sometimes I think, oh, I don't need new friends, and then you walk out after a trip and you're like, oh my, all those my new best friends that I
Yeah,
didn't know I had. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful experience, and I'm so thrilled to be going back. I mean, I would go
now I'm
tomorrow if I
jealous.
could. I know. I would go tomorrow if I could. Seriously.
Well, I'm going to make this. I'm going to try to make a book or something, but at the least I can do is send you the it's not a PowerPoint, but the presentation for for anybody who wants it, and I'll clean it up, like get the right taglines and stuff on it. But I always say about at the what I always say at farewell dinners is because, you know, so many of you are so nice to like say thank you, Jeannie, whatever. And my feeling always is thank you to all the people who come because we can lay out the best itinerary, we can have all these great places to stay, but the thing that makes a trip is the participants, like how you connect and what you bring to the group. And we've been so lucky to have such great travelers with the right spirit. And I'm so happy to know all of you and to get to know some of you that I haven't met yet. So this was an experiment in how, but I hope you guys who were on the trip loved it, and I hope you guys who weren't on the trip got something out of it. Again, I don't want to. This isn't a sales. It's just a kind of a peek into how these things work, and that's how I feel. But certainly, when Kim and I are next week going to start working on any kind of tweaks for next year's trip, but it will be in January. I think January is a good time to go. That's the plan. So if you're interested, you just keep an eye out for it. It'll probably in the next month, just because we'll have to get things organized but in the next month or so, we should have something up about next year. So anyway, but thanks everyone. And if if you have questions that you can always email me or Marcy or Kim. I don't know, we have to put your, we'll send out a note to everybody after this and you'll get a recording too. So anyway, what fun. Love seeing all my India friends. Miss you guys. I have something in the mail to all of you, so be on the lookout.
Yeah, so good to
Thank
see you
you.
guys again.
Good to see everyone.
Great to see
see you.
everybody, and
We'll
great to
be in
see
touch
Gwen
on
and
WhatsApp.
Elizabeth, and
And
yeah,
great to see you, Elizabeth and Olga and Gwen. Thank you. And I know some people had to get off, but what a fun little chance to love
Relive.
India again.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Take care.
Namaste.